I've heard a lot of public officials in Maine, including the governor, say that they wanted this operation to end, this enhanced enforcement operation. What I did was get to work on causing it to end. I, last week, posed a lot of questions to the Department of Homeland Security. I know Secretary Kristi Noem, and I have her cell phone and called her up to talk to her about what was occurring in Maine and why it was so troubling. I don't think anyone takes serious issue with the need for ICE and Customs and Border Protection to go after people who are in this country illegally and have committed crimes. They do need to be detained and they do need to be deported. But that was not what was happening in Maine. There was some of that, undoubtedly, where individuals with criminal histories and allegations of criminal activity who were in the country illegally to start with did need to be picked up and detained until they could be deported. But what I was hearing was cases where businesses who employ asylum seekers or our hospitals in the area who are employing healthcare workers from other countries were fearful that there were going to be raids. In some cases, their employees didn't dare show up for work. And most troubling of all were two cases that I was aware of where mothers were picked up after dropping off their children at school. I don't think that that's what this should be about, and that's why I encouraged the Secretary to end the enhanced enforcement operations in our state. The three reforms that we already put into the bill are very important. You've referred to one of them. There's $20 million for the purchase of body-worn cameras. I support having agents during an operation where these body cameras, I think that that's an important protection to both sides, to the law enforcement officials and to the people with whom they are interacting or arresting in some cases. So I think that those are a good idea. That's why we put $20 million into the DHS funding bill for their purchase. I also think that our requirement that there be de-escalation training is vitally important so that ICE officers and Customs and Border Patrol personnel know how to handle protesters and how to diffuse the tension and lower the temperature. That's a provision that's in our bill as well. We also have a third provision that empowers the Inspector General to inspect detention centers. That's new, and that is also important. On the warrant issue, it appears that DHS used to require judicial warrants and switched to administrative warrants. I need to learn more about why that change was made. It sounds like having the judicial warrant in order to enter a home or a business would provide an independent look at the facts of the situation, but I need to do more work. As far as the masks are concerned, the reason the mask strike me just as sort of scary to when someone's coming at you with a mask. But the reason that they were adopted is so many of these law enforcement officials were finding that their public information, their private information, was being disseminated, that they were being harassed, that their families were being harassed. I think what is most important is that they all have uniforms on and that they have to show a badge of some sort if they are conducting a law enforcement operation. The mask issue is a difficult one because I think it cuts both ways.
You say you have Kristi Noem on cell phone. That's impressive. Did she tell you how many agents were sent here? We know 3,000 were sent to Minnesota. No one knows except maybe her, or she told you how many agents were even sent here.
She did not tell me. That information is considered law enforcement sensitive. It's the same as when I'm on the Intelligence Committee, where unless we're in a classified setting, that kind of information is not made public or given out unless I were in a classified setting with her. I did find her to be responsive as her actions to close down the heightened enforcement operations demonstrated.
They said, last question, here it is. Graham Plattner held a big rally outside your office saying, Portney, you know that. He kind of mocked your agreement, your pause, as a pinky promise and said you would rather